Somewhere in the rainforests of Southeast Asia, an ant is being born into a colony with a very unusual feature. The colony has workers, it has a queen, it has soldiers, and it has a subset of individuals whose primary biological function, the thing their bodies have been optimized to do, is to explode, which raises an obvious question. What is it actually like to be one of those ants? Hi, I'm Mara, and this is Microplanet. The exploding ants belong to a genus called Camponotus, specifically species in a group sometimes called carpenter ants, but the ones we're talking about are a more extreme subset, particularly species like Camponotus saundersi. And the answer to what it's like to be one of them starts not with the explosion, but with what your body is actually built to do before that point. You are a worker ant. You are, structurally, almost entirely a pair of glands. Beneath your exoskeleton, running from your head down through your abdomen, are two enormous mandibular glands filled with a toxic adhesive secretion. These glands are so large, they take up most of your body cavity, significantly reducing the space available for your digestive organs, your reproductive system, and everything else that most ants use to live a full ant life. You are not built for longevity. You're not built for reproduction. You're built to be a weapon, and the question is only when you will be used. Your daily life until that moment is unremarkable. You forage, you tend the brood, you maintain the nest, you follow pheromone trails like every other ant in the colony. From the outside, you are indistinguishable from a regular worker. You eat, you carry food, you communicate chemically. But underneath all of that, you are carrying a payload that cannot be disarmed. The explosion is voluntary, or at least it is neurologically initiated. When a predator attacks, or when you encounter a threat you cannot escape, you contract your abdominal muscles with enough force to rupture your own body wall. The mandibular glands burst open, the toxic, intensely sticky secretion, which is also biological glue, sprays outward in all directions, covering the attacker. The spray can immobilize or kill insects significantly larger than you. It is also lethal to you. There's no recovering from the contraction. The act of defending the colony is the act of ending your own life. This is not as rare in the animal kingdom as it might sound. Honeybees die when they sting vertebrates because the barbed stinger tears free from their abdomen. Some species of termites have explosive soldiers with similar gland rupture mechanisms. But what makes the exploding ants particularly striking is the apparent deliberateness of it. These ants don't stumble into death as a side effect of stinging. They actively choose the moment of detonation. There's also a second problem with being born as an exploding ant, and it's more mundane than the explosion itself. You are essentially a dead end. Worker ants, in most colonies, are sterile. They don't reproduce. Their entire biological contribution to the next generation is indirect. By protecting the queen and the brood, they enable the reproductive individuals to survive and pass on genes. You share roughly 75% of your genes with your sisters due to the unusual reproductive genetics of ant colonies, which means protecting the colony actually passes on more of your genes than you could by reproducing directly. This is the evolutionary logic of altruism in eusocial insects, and it works, but it means your entire existence is instrumental. You are not an end, you are a means. Your life expectancy is short, regardless of whether you explode. Worker ants in tropical species typically live weeks to months. The queen can live for years, decades in some species. You are expendable by design, and the exploding adaptation makes that expendability explicit. You are a weapon that the colony can afford to spend. The strangest part of being an exploding ant is that none of this is imposed on you from outside. There's no decision made at the colony level to sacrifice you. The architecture of your body, the composition of your glands, the neural circuitry that allows you to rupture yourself, All of it was built into you before you hatched. You were never anything else. The colony didn't build a bomb and give it legs. Evolution built a bomb that never knew it was a bomb. Which brings us back to that newly hatched ant in the Southeast Asian rainforest. It will spend its life doing ordinary ant things, foraging, cleaning, carrying, with no awareness of what it's carrying inside it. And then, at some moment it cannot predict and cannot avoid, it will contract its muscles, and the colony will continue.